皆さんこんにちは、シェルビーです。よろしくお願いします。今日日本語の YouTuber について話したいと思います。Hi everyone, my name is Shelby and today I'm going to be talking about YouTube channels you should be watching if you're learning Japanese. When I first started learning Japanese, I didn't know of many resources, especially YouTube channels that help teach you Japanese or speak in Japanese for listening comprehension, so I thought I'd share some of the channels I found throughout the past few years. If you want to skip ahead to a certain category, I'll put timestamps below in the description box. Otherwise, you can just keep on watching. So I'm going to be talking about the difficulty levels of each channel, but remember to take everything I say with a grain of salt because difficulty and how we learn the language is subjective, so my opinion might differ from yours. So please go ahead and watch the channels yourself to see if you like them. Alright, so first I'm going to be talking about channels that teach Japanese in English. So I think these types of channels are pretty good for all levels from beginner to advanced. The first one I'm going to talk about is Japanese Ammo with Misa. Misa is Japanese, but she speaks fluent English, and she teaches the different nuances between grammar points. The only downside to her channel, I would say, is that her videos are really long. Most of them are anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And so if you have a short attention span, they won't be the best for you. But she gives really good detailed explanations. So I think if you like very intricate explanations and you need a lot of clarification, then her channel is definitely good for you. The next channel is Miku Real Japanese. She's pretty similar to Misa in the content that she makes. For example, they both talk about grammar nuances and the difference between certain words. But the difference between their channels is that Miku's videos tend to be shorter and more to the point. So I would recommend her channel if you quickly need clarification on certain grammar points that you've learned already. And the final channel in this category is JapanesePod 101. Chances are if you're learning Japanese, you've already heard of this channel. It's really popular. They teach different grammar points, different vocabulary for all levels. But for me personally, the videos that I think are the most useful are their listening comprehension videos. They have videos where it's just 30 minutes of them talking in Japanese and you have to answer questions. And I think that's really good for improving your listening comprehension. Okay, so the second category of YouTube channels are channels that teach you Japanese but in Japanese. I think these kinds of channels are really good for more advanced beginners to intermediate level because it helps get you into that native listening practice. These channels helped me the most in improving my listening comprehension skills, going from beginner to advanced beginner, early intermediate level. The first channel in this category is Nihongo no Mori. They are probably one of the most popular channels that teaches Japanese in Japanese, and they teach everything from N5 to N1, so I think they're pretty good for all levels. They don't have English subtitles on most of their videos, but a few of their beginner videos do have English subtitles. Next is Sambon Juku. He teaches mostly N3 to N1 level grammar, although he does have a basics video series where he teaches very beginner stuff. His channel would be better for more intermediate, maybe early intermediate learners, as most of his videos don't have English subtitles. Maybe a few of them do, but I'd say the majority don't have them. The next channel is called Onomappu, and it focuses mainly on onomatopoeia like doki doki or fua fua, but he also throws in other videos like vlog type videos, videos about culture or just funny stories he has. And the best thing about his channel is that there are English subtitles and then Japanese subtitles right above them. At the end of his videos, sometimes he also calls his friends to use whatever grammar or vocabulary he just talked about in the video, and it always ends up being really funny, and it's good for Japanese learners to actually hear what we just learned about in real life. He also speaks clearly and slow enough so that you can understand what he's saying, but not so slow that you feel like you're being coddled, if you know what I mean. 10 out of 10 recommend. And here are a few other Japanese channels that teach Japanese in Japanese. I don't have time to talk about all of them, but they're all useful, I think, and all have their pros and cons, so please check them out if you have time. This category is a mix of English and Japanese, and they're not necessarily teaching you Japanese, they're kind of vlogs or conversation. So the first one is Dogen. If you are learning Japanese or are interested in Japanese culture, chances are you already know who Dogen is. He makes humor videos and also talks about intonation a lot. Intonation is something that I don't think a lot of Japanese resources teach you about. So if you want to learn to speak as naturally and as possible and sound like a native speaker, then definitely check out Dogen's videos. He also has English subtitles on his videos. The next channel is Kemushi-Chan. She is an American that lives in Japan with her husband, and she is amazing at Japanese. Like, I'm in awe of her level. But she has great videos. She does vlogs, and she also does videos where she just has conversations with Japanese friends, and she always has English subtitles, so it's really great to watch those for listening comprehension. And also her videos are just really well made and interesting. Her husband is also currently learning Japanese, and he has a YouTube channel called Boom Lore. So if you want to see how he studied Japanese as well, then definitely check out his channel. The next channel is called Benjiro Japanese. He speaks with his italki tutors, and as he's talking, he puts the vocabulary on the side of the screen so you can look at it if you don't know what they're talking about. He speaks really slowly and really clearly, uses simple Japanese and easy grammar. So I think if you are a beginner, his channel is a great way to segue into Japanese listening comprehension. The only downside is that he doesn't post to his channel anymore. The last time he posted was, I think, 2 years ago. But I'd still recommend you check out his channel because he has a lot of good content saved there. And the last channel in this category is called Moshi Moshi Yusuke. He is a relatively small channel, but I think his videos are very useful, especially for beginners. So he lives in Japan, and he basically just attaches a GoPro to himself and walks around Tokyo while doing things like ordering food, buying things, going to the library, things like that. He has English subtitles and then Japanese subtitles in hiragana. So the con is that he doesn't have subtitles with kanji. So if you are more advanced, then that may bother you a little bit. But I think for beginners that don't really know kanji yet, his channel is great for casual, everyday Japanese learning. The next few categories aren't necessarily made to learn Japanese, they're just Japanese YouTube channels, so most of them won't have English translations or captions, but I think they're still great for listening comprehension, especially if you're more advanced. The first category is beauty and lifestyle. There are a lot of Japanese beauty lifestyle vloggers, and so I've accumulated a whole list of them to talk about. The first one is Elena Tsushima. She is Asian American living in Tokyo, and she speaks both English and Japanese, but mainly her videos are in Japanese. The next one is Haruka Kuriyama. She talks about beauty and lifestyle, but she also has a lot of focus on sustainability and veganism. So if you're into that, I'd highly recommend her channel. I really like the aesthetic of her videos. They're very relaxing, and she doesn't have English subtitles on most of her videos, but I think a few of them do. The next one is Hikari Mori. I think she's an actress and or model, and she does typical lifestyle vlogs, but I really like her videos. They're very calming. I don't think she has English subtitles on a lot of her videos, but I like the content that she has. And here are a few other beauty lifestyle channels that speak in Japanese. I don't have time to talk about all of them individually, but they're all pretty great. The next category is food, whether that be cooking or just eating food. The first channel is Peaceful Cuisine, or Ryora Takashima. So he has two channels. Peaceful Cuisine is just where he makes cinematic, aesthetic food videos. He doesn't really speak that much in those videos, so those may not be good for learning Japanese, but they're great videos in general, so I recommend them just to watch for fun. But his other channel, his vlog channel, which is just his name, he speaks in Japanese and he also has English subtitles. And the quality is amazing. He has really great equipment, so the resolution is very high. The next channel I will put on the screen, but she makes videos of her just making food and eating it. And they're very simple. There's no like fancy editing or fancy camera equipment, but I think her videos are just entertaining. The next one is Kinoshita Yuka. She's a competitive eater, and so she films herself making these huge portions of food and then she'll just eat it at the end. A lot of the video is sped up, so you don't have to watch it all, but the other parts that aren't sped up, she talks a lot, and so you can learn. She does talk kind of fast, but I think her videos are still useful for listening practice, and she does have English subtitles as well. The next category is miscellaneous hobbies and random things. So the first channel is Watercolor by Shibasaki. He is an older Japanese man who paints and draws and just talks while doing it. He's kind of like a Japanese version of Bob Ross, and his videos are so relaxing and very wholesome. And he has English subtitles, I think, on most of, if not all of his videos. Mozuku is a gaming channel, and she just plays Animal Crossing while talking. So if you like Animal Crossing, then she is a great YouTube channel. I don't think she has English subtitles, though. But still great. Osho Taigu's Heart of Buddha is a YouTube channel where a Buddhist monk just answers people's questions about life. It's a little bit more advanced because he talks about life philosophy and all of those things, but the videos are very calming and make you think about life. He has two YouTube channels. One is strictly in Japanese and there are no captions, and then the other channel is an English channel that has the English translations. The only thing is, with the English channel, they haven't updated it in about 2 years, so there are only a certain amount of videos there that you can read the English for, but their Japanese channel they update frequently. The last channel in this category is Sushi Ramen Riku, and honestly I don't even watch his videos to learn Japanese. I just watch them because they're so funny and entertaining. He basically just pulls pranks and makes contraptions and does funny things on camera. He has English subtitles on almost all of his videos, if not all of them. Also, if you're going to watch any of his videos, please watch the White Ninja on the Ceiling video. Okay, next is the Terrace House category. If you're like me and you were obsessed with Terrace House on Netflix, then this is a great category because you can just keep up with the members that were on Terrace House while also learning Japanese. A lot of past members have YouTube channels, but only a few of them actually keep up with it and post often. So I'm just going to list those ones here. There's Mizuki Shida from Opening New Doors, Ami Komudo from Opening New Doors, Seina and Noah have a joint channel. They're from Opening New Doors. Risako Tanabe from Tokyo 2020, Yume Yoshida from Tokyo 2020, and then Jen Mila from Aloha State. And finally, we're at the last category. So this category is just people that do interviews. There are 3 channels that conduct interviews in Japanese and have English subtitles, so I'll tell you about them here. The first one is Asian Boss. They do interviews all over the world in Asia, even Korea, China, India, the Philippines, everywhere in Asia they conduct interviews, but you can watch the Japanese ones and they tend to talk about pretty controversial, hot topics, so it's great to learn about current events while also getting to hear the opinions of people living in Japan. I'd say this channel is probably better for advanced learners because the people being interviewed tend to speak fast and also use more difficult vocabulary since the topics are so in-depth, or you need to be in-depth to answer the questions. But I think all levels can watch it and enjoy it still because there are English subtitles. The next one is Ask Japanese. She does interviews around Tokyo mainly. These interviews are a bit less controversial. They're more just fun, opinion-based questions. There are English subtitles, so yeah. And finally, there's that Japanese man Yuta. Similar to Ask Japanese, he interviews people on the street, and there are English subtitles. So all three of these YouTube channels I think are great. Okay, that's it for all the channels that I have for today. But I'm going to talk about my top 3, the ones that I personally think helped me the most or I find myself using the most. At number 3, we have Benjiro Japanese. I think this channel might have been the one resource that really helped me level up in terms of my listening comprehension. So if you are just starting out learning Japanese, or you think you're not very good at listening to Japanese, then please check out Benjiro. At number 2, we have Miku. I find myself going to her channel a lot when I need clarification on grammar points that are really similar or have the same meaning. And I like that her videos are short and to the point because I have a very short attention span. Finally, 私の一番好きな YouTuber は Onomappu です。I don't know, maybe because we're the same age, I'm 23 and he's also 23, I just find the topics that he talks about and the content to be really interesting and more relevant to my life than any other channel that I've watched. I love the fact that he calls his friends at the end of the videos. I don't know, I just think everything about his channel is so funny and interesting and very useful for listening comprehension. So please check out his channel and subscribe to him if you have not already. He only has about 34,000 subscribers right now, but by the end of this year, he will definitely have over 100,000. He is a great resource and I can see his channel growing a lot. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some useful resources in this video. If not, I'm sorry. Please let me know what your favorite Japanese YouTubers are in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you next time. ありがとうございました。